Welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. While we've known the title for Pirates of the Caribbean 5 for a while now, we haven't really known what the movie's going to be about. But now we have the official synopsis for the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. Here's the official synopsis. Thrust into an all-new adventure, a down-on-his-luck Captain Jack Sparrow finds the winds of ill fortune blowing even more strongly when deadly ghost pirates, led by his old nemesis, the terrifying Captain Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, escapes from the Devil's Triangle, determined to kill every pirate at sea, including him. Captain Jack's only hope of survival lies in seeking out the legendary Trident of Poseidon, a powerful artifact that bestows upon its possessor total control over the seas. Okay. I am one of the defenders of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I do not defend on Stranger Tides. I find it difficult to defend at World's End. This just goes to show you the level of my opinion on this franchise. I loved the first one. I thought, well, the second one kind of had a weak ending, and even though they were filmed back to back, the second and third movie should have been separate stories altogether, but yet it was just a cliffhanger ending that led into another film. But I really did like where they took the second movie, because that to me was the natural progression of the story. If they were going to do more, which, let's face it, the first one was a financial success and critical success. A lot of people liked it, so they were going to do more. Where do they take it? Well, where they took it in the second one, to me, was the logistical next step. You've already introduced the supernatural. You cannot then go back to telling generic pirate stories once you've introduced the supernatural. You need to keep that going. With sequel rules, you kind of need to up the ante. Now, they kind of went a little too far, I find, with the Kraken, bringing the Kraken into the second one, because that could have been a really cool setup for the third film. But still, well, I mean, they still included it in there, but I mean, not having it in both, it really took away from not importance, but what's the word I'm trying to find? The necessity of the character, you know? I mean, well, not even really character, the creature. But anyway, At World's End to me was way too long. Didn't have enough action in it. It felt like it was trying to be too character-based, yet there wasn't enough character stuff in it. And then the fourth one came along, and the thing that I hated the most about that, because I have a problem with musicals. I just don't like musicals. And you got somebody like Rob Marshall, the director of musicals. I believe he directed Chicago. I'd have to double check that. But you get him to come in, and the fight sequences in the movie look like they're dance choreography. They look so planned out. And they're so they're not even stylized as cool fight scenes. They're stylized as dances. And that was one of the biggest problems I have with that movie. But to me, there's a couple of really interesting factors coming into Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Number one, you have Espen Sandberg and Joachim Ronning, the directors of Kon-Tiki. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Kon-Tiki, you need to see that movie. You want to see why up-and-coming directors, like directors that maybe do just one or two very tiny films, then get handed big-budget special effects franchises. It's because they see the level of storytelling. I've talked about this plenty of times on the show, but they see the level of storytelling, the level of character development these directors are able to bring about, and that's what they look for. The studios can always surround them with the best people possible in each field, the best special effects designer, the best set designers, you know, the best casting directors, all this kind of stuff. The directors have their talents in working with the actors, being able to set up scenes, make a coherent story, without having to rely on gimmicks, for the most part. Some of these upcoming directors do rely on gimmicks, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I'm talking to you, Neil Blomkamp. I want him to do something different. All of his movies have been the same. Chappie looks like it's going to be cool, but it looks like it's going to be the same. It looks the same. But anyway, that's another discussion for another day. Number two, they have taken a while to get this movie off the ground. Usually a studio, when the most financially successful installment in the franchise comes out, they usually try to strike when the iron's hot, and they try to get the next movie out as soon as they can. But Disney and Johnny Depp and Jerry Bruckheimer have all decided to take a break. They all decided to take a little bit of a step back. Now, Johnny Depp wanted to take a break from the big, extravagant film schedules. I personally believe that they utilize this time to actually craft a worthwhile story. And that's my main goal with this. That's what I want them to do with these movies is, yes, we know we're going to get big popcorn fun. We know we're going to get that. We also know that Jack Sparrow is not a character that we really want to follow 100% of the time. We find him better suited as a co-lead. But you need to find the right character to have him be the co-lead with. And I found that Barbossa was probably one of the best characters that they could have used because their chemistry between one another really works really well. But outside of that, you can't really craft a story around these two guys. It's very difficult to do that. We know that Barbossa is coming back. So, I mean, we have Captain Jack, we have Barbossa. I mean, there's a lot of elements from previous movies that could help with this. But the biggest thing to me is this potential storyline. The fact that he is seeking out the Trident of Poseidon. Now, I like the storyline. To me, personally, I don't like the fact that it's Jack Sparrow going after this. Because I find that that is not in his character. He is not that type of a person. Now, again, I'm digging a little too deep into the lore of Pirates of the Caribbean. I realize it's fun popcorn summer action flick. But still, having Jack be basically the person who takes over the reins of Poseidon, I mean, that to me is a little over extravagant. But I'm definitely on board. I think there's some potential for some really cool set pieces here. There's a lot of potential for this to be a unique and reviving movie in the franchise. While they said they were trying to do that with On Stranger Tides, they were making more land-based sequences because they were trying to bring the budget down because they didn't want it to balloon the way that At World's End did. And then the budget ended up going like to $200 and some million. So I don't know what it is about productions with Johnny Depp, but they seem to go way over budget. And they don't ever end up looking like they cost that much. Like, you look at On Stranger Tides and you look at it and you say, how could this movie cost as much as they say it did? Same with Lone Ranger. How could that movie have cost as much as they say that it did? Because it doesn't show. And then you see other movies where you're like I can't believe that, what was I was watching, what was it, Guilty Movie Pleasures the other day. If you guys haven't checked out Popcorn Talk Network and the Schmoes Know, go check out Guilty Movie Pleasures. That's a great show. And they were talking about Starship Troopers. And Starship Troopers was a movie that was made for $80 million. That movie looks like it was made for a hell of a lot more. Even though it came out a while ago, it looks like it was made for a hell of a lot more money than that. So, I don't know. There's a lot going for this, but there's also a lot going against it. They also have well over 2 years before this movie comes out. They just started filming the movie. Production is now underway in Australia. And they still have over 2 years before this movie comes out. I wonder if we're going to get a move back to 2016. Although they may just take this time to perfect the special effects, really give them time to go in and have to do reshoots if they need to. Yeah, I don't know. We're still in the very early stages of this. There's a lot about this story that sounds really cool, like the Devil's Triangle, talking about that, and really kind of exploring that. Seeing Javier Bardem portraying another villain, because he plays villains very well. You just have to look at Skyfall and No Country for Old Men. I mean, he plays a great villain. I did not care for No Country for Old Men all that much, but you have to admit, Javier Bardem was masterful in that movie. He was just perfect in that movie. So yeah, I'm on board with it. I mean, Kaya Scodelario from Maze Runner is joining the cast. Brenton Thwaites from The Giver is joining the cast. I don't know what to say about Kaya yet. I mean, she's beautiful, absolutely. But for any of those of you who have seen The Maze Runner, you know that she really doesn't do anything in the movie at all. Like, she's a borderline. The only reason that she came in there was to spark this kind of feud between the characters in the movie. That's her role in that book. Now, coming into the Scorch Trials, she could play something better. I still don't know. I haven't read the books, but she's beautiful, you know? So, I mean, I don't know what else she's going to bring other than something nice to look at on screen. I haven't seen enough from her to see if she is a talented actress. And judging by their casting decisions on the fourth movie, I can't say they're bringing them in because of their acting talent. I mean, the girl who played the mermaid was not the greatest actress on the planet, so let's just put it at that. So I'm excited. We got Jeffrey Rush coming back as Barbossa. Kevin McNally's coming back. Stephen Graham's coming back. You got the Kentucky directors. I'm excited for it. So it's coming out July 7th, 2017. Until we hear more about it, I'm excited about it, but I have a feeling this movie is going to let us down. But let me know in the comment section below whether or not you guys are excited for this, because I really want to know what your guys' opinions are about this. But the movie's opening up on July 7th, 2017. If we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. Yesterday, Bryan Singer took to his Instagram account to announce the fact that Kodi Smit-Mcphee, the son character from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and he was also the supporting character in Let Me In, has been cast as the new Nightcrawler. So we are getting a new version of Nightcrawler in X-Men Apocalypse. I think this is great casting. Now, say what you will about his physical appearance, Nightcrawler is going to be under a lot of makeup. Just remember that. Kodi Smit-Mcphee has shown that he is a very talented young actor. Very talented young actor. This guy can bring a lot of depth to this character. But I also think that he can bring a little bit of levity to this character. Because that was one thing to me that was missing from X-Men 2. Because the character was so inherently dark. And Nightcrawler, the Nightcrawler that we all know, at least from the animated series, he was more of a teenager. He was more of a kid. And so seeing him as a kid and being that little immature little thing, I'm excited for it. I think Kodi Smit-Mcphee is definitely the right actor to bring that to life. You know, and this kind of continues Bryan Singer's desire to recreate the characters that he has already utilized in his previous films, but to do them in a new way. Maybe to showcase them in their prime, in the height of their powers, all this stuff. Mainly Cyclops. I've been saying this for a while, that we need a proper version of Cyclops because he is the leader. He is the quintessential X-Man. Like, he is the one who embodies that persona. And we have not seen that yet in the movies. Now, that has nothing to do with James Marsden's performance. He was great in what he was given. But the fact remains is that they basically gave Wolverine the Cyclops role in a sense that he was the leader, and the movie's focused around him. Not that I'm complaining. Hugh Jackman's been incredible as Wolverine. But I really wanted to see the character of Cyclops really fully utilized. I think the best that we got to see him utilized, even though it was the smallest I think that he was featured in all of the films, was in X-Men 2. When he was working with Professor X, and you saw that he was really like his second in command. That is what I want to see Cyclops become. And with him being younger in this movie, I think we're going to see that start to develop. My only condition with this, or my only concern with this, is they've got a great young cast right now for all of these younger versions of these characters. But are they only going to appear in this movie? Are we only going to get them in X-Men Apocalypse? Because if we're to get these actors to continue playing these roles, then that means that the majority of the future X-Men films, at least for the next couple of years, will be set in the 80s, possibly the early 90s. So, I mean, I don't know where they could go with that storyline. I mean, outside of trying to redo X-Men Origins Wolverine, and really kind of showcase the Weapon X program and how Wolverine actually got his adamantium and all that kind of stuff. But we don't need a retread of that, so I hope we don't get that. But I don't see where else they could go with it. I mean, well, the timeline's been completely wiped, so they could really go anywhere that they want to. But yeah, I'm really curious as to see where they're gonna go. My main thing about this movie, and I was thinking about this when I was doing research about the movie, I want there to be a Nightcrawler Quicksilver sequence, because we know that Quicksilver's coming back, and now we know that Nightcrawler is being introduced into this movie as well. Imagine if we got a sequence from Quicksilver's perspective during an action sequence, right as Nightcrawler bamfs, and we get to see what that looks like almost in a freeze frame, you know, in a three-dimensional holographic representation. I think that would be visually really cool. Or have, you know, Quicksilver and Nightcrawler actually fighting or arguing about something, and Quicksilver's running towards him, and he bamfs, and just as he is about to collide with him, he fully disappears. I think there's so many possibilities for really cool action set pieces in this movie. And from what we've seen from Days of Future Past, you can include a lot of characters and still have them be properly utilized. So I am on board with this 100%. I think this is going to be really cool. Bryan Singer has been doing nothing but great things with the X-Men franchise, save for leaving to do Superman Returns. Let's just, you know, put that out there. But you look at it, the movies that he has been directly involved in were X-Men, great movie, X2, one of the best superhero movies ever designed or ever created. Then you have X-Men First Class, which he came up with the idea for and executive produced, although they were trying to get him to direct, and I think he was actually going to direct. But it was tying in with his Jack the Giant Slayer movie. And then he directed X-Men Days of Future Past, which is arguably the best X-Men film that we've had so far. Now we've got Apocalypse, bringing in the one character that I think every X-Men fan out there has been dying to see realized on the big screen. So I am really on board with this. We got Oscar Isaac playing Apocalypse. I mean, that is an Oscar-level caliber actor right there, portraying probably the most badass villain in the X-Men comics. This movie is going to kick ass. I cannot wait for it. And with production starting up very soon, we're going to start to get a lot more information from it. Most notably, we're going to start getting our first looks at these new characters. I'm very curious to see what they're going to make Nightcrawler look like. If they're going to make him look like what Alan Cummings did in X2, if they're going to try to stray away from that and really have that be the evolution of the character, because he's not going to have all those carvings yet. At least I don't think so, because if he explained it right in X2, those are like sigils. Those are almost like spells or something like that to ward off evil spirits and to protect his soul. And he does it every time that he has made a mistake. He injures himself. So there's a lot of depth to this character that I'm really excited about. And I think Kodi Smit-Mcphee is definitely one of the right actors to portray this character. So yeah, I'm excited for it. The movie's going to start filming in April, so we're going to get a lot more information in the next couple of months about it. And the movie's going to be opening up on May 27th, 2016, which is going to be very interesting because we also have Deadpool coming out in February of 2016, and then we have Gambit coming out in October. So there's a lot of material, and the rumor is still existing that Gambit will be featured in X-Men Apocalypse. I just don't know how, because that's going to really affect the timeline. If you have Gambit involved in this movie, that means that his film will need to be set in the 80s. We know that Deadpool is taking place in modern day. So with Gambit also being set in the 80s, I don't know. To me, it kind of ties their hands. I do like the time travel aspect, and we still don't know if that's going to be utilized in X-Men Apocalypse. If they are going to have time travel involved. Because this whole thing about Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen and all this stuff, like, I still don't even know what to make of that. That, you know, they came out and said that, no, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart were not coming back for Apocalypse. And then Patrick Stewart makes a comment saying, well, Ian McKellen is definitely back in Apocalypse. I am not, but I will be running around with Hugh Jackman in Wolverine 3. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I really don't know. We're going to get more information, and as it does come out, like, I like kind of not knowing. I like... We have enough. This is not a Fantastic Four situation. My argument always with Fantastic Four... Sorry, I'm just going to go off for this for a sec. My argument with Fantastic Four for the longest time was that we did not get anything. I would have been happy with a couple of pictures. You know, maybe even the logo of the movie. It shows that they're at least putting stuff out. The fact that we didn't get a trailer didn't really bug me. It didn't bother me all that much. Photographs, you know, interviews, comments about from the film crew, all that kind of stuff would have been a lot more helpful. But they hid everything, and that's what got a lot of people worried. With a movie like this, we don't even really need to see a whole lot. Just take a couple of pictures. Just send out a picture every 2 months. You know, just say, like, here's a shot of Wolverine interacting with young Nightcrawler. You know, here's Cyclops first getting his laser eye goggles thing. You know, like, there's lots and lots of things that they could do just to whet our appetite. But just don't give away the farm. That's just the only thing. And I don't think they're going to do that, because they didn't really do that with Days of Future Past. Having said that, I stayed away from all the TV spots. I tend to do that because TV spots will show a lot of footage that you don't want to see, because it'll ruin the movie, at least in my opinion. So the movie's going to be opening up on May 27, 2016. If we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. And for our final story today, we have Ron Howard confirming the cast for his upcoming adaptation of Dan Brown's Inferno, which is going to be the third film in his Da Vinci Code trilogy. So Omar Sy, Irfan Khan, and Sidsi Babit Knudsen, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing their names, have all joined the cast. Omar Sy, who people remember as Bishop in X-Men Days of Future Past, and he was also in the Untouchables. He will play a character named Christoph Bruder. Irfan Khan, who was most recently in Amazing Spider-Man, and he's in the upcoming Jurassic World. He will play a character called Harry Sims, who is also known as the Provost. And then Knudsen will play Dr. Elizabeth Sinsky, who is the head of the World Health Organization. So there's still no real more detail other than that. I have not read the book. The only one that I've read was the Da Vinci Code, and I really liked it. And I'm one of the people, I did like the adaptation of the movie. There were a lot of things that they missed, absolutely, but there's only so much that you can include in a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. So they really had to cherry pick and find the things that would work best for the story they were trying to tell. And in my personal opinion, the things that they did take out to include in the movie, I felt that they worked better. It would have been cool to see some of the other aspects of the book, but it wouldn't have worked in the film. And that's like, just looking at the narrative of the movie, they just wouldn't have worked. They would have stuck out like a sore thumb. They wouldn't have made sense. There wouldn't have been enough time to clarify them. I was a little bit let down by Angels and Demons because I felt that Angels and Demons stepped back a bit from the historical aspect of the movie and really more so went into the thriller aspect of it, and really going about a cat and mouse game about this guy trying to find this guy. So Inferno to me has me intrigued because it does involve the story of Dante's Inferno, which is a really fascinating story if you guys haven't read it. But Inferno involves Tom Hanks' character, who's returning as Professor Robert Langdon. And the story finds Langdon waking up in an Italian hospital with amnesia and subsequently teaming up with Dr. Sienna Brooks, who will be played by Felicity Jones, who is not only nominated for her role in The Theory of Everything, but was just recently cast in the upcoming Star Wars standalone film. So 2016 is looking like it's going to be a pretty good year for Felicity Jones. I'm excited for her there. But Langdon wakes up in an Italian hospital with amnesia and subsequently teams up with Dr. Brooks to try and recover his memories. They also find themselves trying to prevent a madman from releasing a global plague that is connected to Dante's Inferno. So, to me, there seems to be potential here to really delve back into the history aspect of what this franchise has, at least in my opinion, forgotten about a little bit. And again, that's just my opinion. It's just my interpretation of what I got from the book. To me, this could lead to some really cool action sequences. There's a lot of potential here for some really cool stuff. Ron Howard has been on a little bit of a resurgence now. I mean, he had Rush come out. Now he has Into the Heart of the Sea coming. It was originally supposed to come out in March, and now they delayed it to December because they find that there's a lot of Oscar prospects for it. So I'm excited for it. Like, there's a lot to like about this. Tom Hanks has also been on a little bit of a resurgence as well. He's been choosing his roles very wisely. So the fact that they're both wanting to come back and do this movie, that has a lot of hope for me. I mean, I'm genuinely excited about it. I don't know what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section what you guys' opinions on it are. Also, if you've read the book, let me know how it ties in or how it works with Da Vinci Code. Not in terms of the continuity of it, but in terms of an enjoyable storyline, in terms of it really delving into the historical aspect of what the franchise, at least in my opinion, really strives for. Let me know in the comment section, without spoiling anything from the book, let me know if it is a worthwhile adaptation, or if it is a worthwhile novel, if it's a worthwhile continuation of the story of Robert Langdon, whether or not you've wanted to see this or The Lost Symbol. Because that was the other Robert Langdon book. That was the third novel in the series that I think they kind of skipped over. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. I like the fact that there's going to be some sort of global pandemic that is tied in with Dante's Inferno. The ramifications for this could be very large. You look at Angels and Demons. One thing it did really cool was it brought science into the religious aspect of the movie and really delved into the God particle. And so there's potential. I'm excited for it. It's a great cast. I mean, especially Omar Sy and Irfan Khan. I'm not that well known with Sidsi Knudsen, so I'm not that well versed with her filmography. So I don't know what to make of her playing this character. I like Irfan Khan. He, to me, is going to be one of the standouts in Jurassic World. I have a feeling about. I don't think his role is going to be very big, but he always has that kind of. He's imposing. He has that. He's intimidating. He has that imitation. He has that intimidation. My apologies. Level for him. So I think there's a lot of potential here for it. Having somebody like Felicity Jones involved in this movie too. She's just on the rise right now. So there's there's a lot of potential for this movie to be really good. But again, that's just my opinion. The movie's going to start shooting in April of this year. There's a lot of movies starting shooting in April. Jeez. And it's going to be released hopefully on October 14th, 2016. So, like I said, 2016 is going to be a good year for Felicity Jones. I have a good feeling about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this movie being made, Ron Howard returning, and what you think of the new cast. Let me know in the comment section below. And if we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click that subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email us at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. And on every Friday episode, we'll try to get to as many as we can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.